On today's Technique Tuesday, we're going to be looking at how to use sends from Protools to send to external pieces of equipment like compressors for your mix. Let's go check it out. Hi, I'm Greg, and today's Technique Tuesday is going to be a bit of a bigger one. It's going to be in two parts, and I'm going to talk you through it. So what is the point of today's Technique Tuesday? Well, I've been revisiting old 80s records, and a big one that most people will remember is In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. And we're going to look at how to recreate that drum sound using external equipment and sending audio to it from Pro Tools. So I'm going to play that drum sound now. We all know it. It was discovered by accident by Hugh Padgham. I'm not going to go into the details because there's plenty of articles and videos describing that on the internet. But I'm going to show you how we're going to recreate it using kind of a similar technique that they did. So first of all, we're going to go to Pro Tools. And what we're going to do is we have my drum tracks here, and you'll notice that I've also got bass, and I do color code my sessions because I find it a lot easier to navigate, especially when you're working with lots and lots of tracks. So at the moment we've got our dry signal, which I'm going to just press play. So this track has a bit of toms in it, which is kind of what I'm going to want to use. I want to basically compress the life out of those toms so they really pop out. So first of all, I'm going to create a new track, and I'm going to go up to here, and you'll see a shortcut, Command-Shift-N if you're on a Mac, and you can bring up and you can create. We don't want an audio track, we want an aux track. So I would create that, and it would come up like this. With Pro Tools, they automatically color code these sends as green. I'm now going to assign this an input as a bus, and you'll see we are going to be using a Listen Mic Compressor, which was what it was called on SSL. So I'm going to highlight that, and also assign it an output. Now, instead of it going to our mix bus here, we're going to assign it to an output, a physical output, because I need it to come out of the audio interface into the Listen Mic Compressor, and then out of the compressor back into the computer to record. So I've already created an output, and I'm going to put that there like that. So now, if I go to my tracks, I want to send the snare to that aux, and I want to send the tom bus, and then I also want to send the room microphone. So first of all, let's just, as I bring this up, you'll see so we can see the toms are going in. If I press Command, and there I can bring these in. So now we're sending the snare, and if I do that one, now we're sending the overhead, sorry, not the overhead, we're sending the room, the tom group, and we're sending the snare. So this will now go into this channel here. I've assigned the output to go out into my compressor, and then we would then monitor it on the desk, which I'm going to go to in a minute. Over here, for reasons I'm not entirely sure, SSL with the 6 desk, you can only access the Listen Mic Compressor via the talkback input. Don't know why, but that's the way they've done it. So for me to take a jack, I'm using a DI box, which will convert that line input to a mic level. I turn the compressor on. Now with this desk, this talkback input, or the input to the Listen Mic Compressor, is fixed gain. we can't change that in any way whatsoever. The gain is fixed. So we're going to need to control that input via the aux send from Pro Tools. So if this is fixed, how do we control the output? Well, we can control the output with the talkback level, and we have to engage this, which sends the signal back out of the desk. And then I routed the signal back in to here so we can hear it. It's a little convoluted, I appreciate that. And you might need to watch this a couple of times so you get the idea. I will put a link of the SSL manual in the comments beneath so you can kind of see for yourself. So I'm now going to play the track with the toms, and we're going to hear the wet signal there. I've muted the dry signal for the moment. So I'm going to mute everything apart from the toms going in. It's pretty vicious. Right. One thing I have noticed with this is that there is a bit of distortion because the gain is so high on the compressor. So to help us a little bit, we're going to go up to here, and you will see that I've created an EQ to reduce some of that signal. So I'm now going to play it again, and we should hear a bit less distortion. With, without. Still a little bit, but it's a lot, quite a bit less. And finally, we're going to add a reverb. And again, if we want less going into here, I can reduce the send level. So let's bring the other parts in, the snare and the room. And I'm going to use some of the EQ on the desk just to reduce some of the top end on a shelf. And now I'm going to bring this in. So dry with the wet signal combined. So on, off. So when this red light is on, it's muted. So on, off. Right, so that is how we can monitor it using the desk, but now we need to record it back into Pro Tools. So here I'm going to create a new track, an audio track this time, assign the input that channel 2 on my desk is sending the signal from. So I'm going to mute, input monitor it, and we can see that the track, the input is there. So that is how we can use an external, really brutal compressor to add a vibe to our drums. We could use it on anything. I could use it for vocals, guitars, bass, but I wanted to use it in a way that most of us will have heard how this compressor was used. You don't have to use this compressor. You just need to use one that is brutal already. So an Elusive 36 or 3630 is a compressor that Daft Punk have used for great effect. You could use a cheap Behringer compressor, a guitar compressor, anything like that. I mean, you don't have to use external hardware. You could use a software compressor and smash the crap out of it. So that is my Technique Tuesday. I realise it's a bit of a, two-parter, but I do think if you get your head around this, you can use this for great effect to create a really, really good vibe. But anyway, what do you think? Write in the comments beneath. Smash that subscribe bell button thing, and we will see you on the next Technique Tuesday. Stay safe out there.